Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and this is part 6 of tutorial series on RAG-powered AI agent. In today's video, we are going to convert a console-based RAG-powered AI system to interactive web application. If you haven't watched my part 5 and part 4, I would highly recommend you to watch at least part 4 because we are going to refactor the code which we have written in part 4. In part 5, we have just, analyzed, okay, which library to use to just have the interactive web application top of our console-based RAG system. And if you remember what we have done, we have did this like on Streamlit and Gradio. So I feel that Gradio is much easier to start with. So we are going to today just create the interface with the Gradio, right? And this is what we have covered in a part 4. So now, just without further delay, let's get into the coding. Okay, so what we're gonna do, this is the code which we have written in the part 4, where we can ask the question and we were able to get the answer. But in Gradio, what we need is, right? So as I explained in part 5, Gradio is actually dependent upon 3 attributes: function, inputs, and outputs. What is input? Input is number of parameter which we need to pass to the function, and output is directly related to how many values are being written from the function, right? So from the high level perspective, we have to create a generate answer function. What it will do, it will first accept, the user question, extract the relevant context docs. We have to format that into the context test through which we can build the prompt with the context and the question. And then we are going to make the call to the LLM, basically an AI agent. And then we will get the answer from the LLM and which we are going to show the URL, right? So what I have done is I have already write a code, where I have just refactored it. So the very first thing, if you remember, we have a lot of configuration hard-coded values over here. So the very first thing which I have done is I have just created this config.py and I just put it all the hard-coded value here. We are calling this as a configuration for our system, right? That's the one. The next thing is, which I have done is, I have just loaded the config, loaded the environmental file, which is pretty much same. And then we are just extracting those API key and ensuring that API key is there for PineCone as well as for Google, right? The next function, what I'm doing here is I'm creating a PineCone index connection because that is what we needed, right? So all I did is whatever the logic we were having for creating this index, I just put it in a function, right? Same thing what I have done for LLM embedding project. This is a new, I would say a new function. I think we should retrieval as well. Because it's not only this giving us LLM embedding with the retrieval object as well, right? So what we are doing here is, if you remember, this is the code where we are just creating an embedding an LLM, and if you just remember, this is the retriever we are creating. So what I have done, I just consolidated all those three and just put it a if-else condition and just expecting this parameter, whether I want the LLM or embedding or retriever, and based on that, we are just going to return the required object, right? So, okay, so I have to change this. The next thing is prompt creator. Again, simple thing, whatever we have here, like prompt, and the next how we are just creating a prompt from the template from the LangChain. I just put it in a function. Then this is the format deck. So whatever value docs you are going to feed in as a list, it is going to just join by 2 double slash for backward slash n, which is representing a new, right? That's it. Format docs was already there. And then what I have done, whatever we have coded like this, I have just created a new function which is generate answer. So this I have to choose to this one. Okay. So now let's quickly review this. Input creator, what I'm doing, I'm calling a retriever, and getting a retriever object. And then I'm asking for the context doc. So basically through the retriever, I'm saying, okay, this is my question. Based on this, can you just provide me the context? Right? So it is actually going to call the retriever and just provide us the relevant context. And then context text is actually being passed to the format docs to just provided us a context text. So we are actually getting a context text through which we are just creating our input, right? So now in generate answer, first it is expecting a question, just converting that into the proper prompt which we want, which is my context and question. Right? So basically, this is the input which is getting created with the JSON object for the context and questions. Then we are calling a prompt creator. What prompt creator going to do? Prompt creator is going to just populate our template where we need two variables value, context and question. This is what we are feeding in, right? To prompt invoke, and then we are feeding the inputs, right? This is just a standard way of LangChain. Then we are just calling a LLM object because now we need a LLM object. So that's parameter is LLM. If you just call C, when we are going to retrieve when we need a retriever, at that point of time, we are passing in a retriever. Awesome. So LLM and retriever. So now, once we have this LLM object, we are feeding in the prompt, which we have created with the help of a context and questions. And then we are calling it, getting a response, massaging or clearing that response, and we are just answering it. And now we are returning that because this is the main entry point from the function perspective, which Gradio application is going to use. And this is the small piece of code from the Gradio, which we have to do. What we have to do? First, we have to import a Gradio, right? So import Gradio as GR, which is a standard recommended way, but you can just analyze it. gr.interface. This is the class which we need to use, which expect three main mandatory attributes: function, inputs, outputs. And then we have a title. You can give the title whatever you want. Theme is soft. There are many more options. You can just go through the documentation, understand, and description, right? What description you want to give to our page, right? So here we are just giving a function name, not the open and close parentheses, because we don't want to execute now. Input here, if you just see, we are just calling this gr text box, right? So where we are just having this text, I can just simply remove this list because we don't need this list. Okay. It's good. And then we have an output where we are saying, okay, again, we need a test box label is respond and just give anything whatever we want. Right now we have this object from the interface, and now we are just launching it. It's very straightforward. Define a function, give an input and the output. This input should be single. If we have this generate answer is getting one parameter, then it should be one text box, right? Depending upon the data. If you want to pass in a num or the slider, whatever you want to pass in, based on whatever number of parameter you need to pass, the same value you have to accept over here in the input. And whatever number of values you are returning, same thing you have to define in the output. We are returning a text kind of answer, so that's the reason I'm saying test box, right? That's straightforward, right? And then you have to just launch them, right? So let me just close this. Let's rerun it. And there's no problem. Okay, click on this. Okay, see, we just got a very good web application, and now our server is running here, right? So we can ask any question. This is a very simple thing, and we don't have to do anything. All we did is we just write few lines of code through the video, and we have this web application up and running, right? So we can just ask, what is monitoring and distributed system, or whatever the question you want to ask based on the data which we have uploaded. You can use your PDFs, and accordingly you can ask the question. Okay, so let's come back here on the server side and see. Okay, it seems like monitoring is distributed. Okay, so now we can see the answer. Monitoring in distributed system software design refers to the continuous process. Okay, that's fine. Now we don't know like what context we use, right? We really want to see whether our system is working at what we are expecting it to do, right? So what we can do here is we can just create a list, because what I want now is the additional thing through which we can just see the context. I just wanted to see the context as well. Okay. So what I did, I just added another test box in our output. Now we have two test box. So definitely we have to return two values through our generate function. So what I'm going to do, I need a context, right? How can I get the context? So context is being stored in a inputs, and inputs has this JSON context. So basically what we can do here is, inputs, and then we can just extract the value for the tag context, and we should be having text, right? So now we have context and answer. Okay, so I think we should work fine. Let's close the server and rerun it from here. Let's close that. Click on it. Right now, we can see two text box, context and the response. You can ask same question again one more time. What is monitoring in this system? Okay, so we can just ask. Come back on the server side. Retriever configure request key result. It's initialized. Okay, now done. Okay, so now we can see the context as well. What are the three different contexts, our retriever provided based on our query, right? So these are the three contexts which just fed into the LLM along with my query. What are those? Monitoring in distributed software design refers to a continuous process of collecting, analyzing, blah, 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 and then monitoring in distributed, blah, blah, blah. And then we have three different values through which we are actually getting them. And if you just see, all of them are correct, all of them are same, because it seems like we have just uploaded the same PDF multiple times, right? So probably just to get the what we can see, let's see if we have what is logging in our distributed system, right? Okay. Now we can see the progress bar here. Now we distributed. Seems like again, it's returning a same. So I think we should something which is a little different. What is container orchestration in the distributed system? But if it is repeated, because that seems like, we have uploaded a multiple PDFs, but we have uploaded the same PDF multiple times. That's the reason we are getting the same result over here. So what we have to do, I think we have to clean up that, and so that we just get the answer. But the idea here is you can print out the context as well as response here, right? So what other thing, we can keep adding a lot of new intelligence, right? Because right now we don't have a flexibility where we can upload the PDF and then ask the question. That also we can do, and probably at that point of time we can just verify whether the context is populating correctly or not. So that's it from my side for this video, right? And if you have any feedback or suggestion, please feel free to put that into the comment section. I would love to include that in my upcoming videos. And thanks for watching this, and as always, stay healthy and keep learning new things. And one more point, if you really like this video, please give a thumbs up. And if you feel that this video can help your friends, group, or colleague, please feel free to share with them. And if you haven't subscribed for my channel, please do subscribe for my channel as well. Thanks for watching.